Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Diplomatic Enclave. I'm your host Umar Khalid. But as is the norm with this show, we always talk to ambassadors, heads of organizations, sometimes it is prime ministers and ministers, that we take time to understand their points of views on where they come from, on their foreign relations, on their relations with Pakistan. The basic crux is to understand different countries and organizations and also to understand the way their bilateral relations with our country is going. Now, today we have an ambassador who belongs to a country that is very dear to Pakistan. They are part of the Central Asian states. A lot of important or interesting aspects to that country. It is a doubly landlocked country. There are only two such countries in the world, and this one is one of them. It hosts the world's largest open cast gold mine. The flag of this country has a profound meaning: 4 colors, the crescent moon and 12 stars. The color blue in the flag represents the sky, the white symbolizes peace and purity, and the green represents Islam and nature. It is the world's second largest cotton exporter and the 5th largest producer as well. And of course, there are a lot of other important peculiarities to this country, but we'll delve on that a bit later. Let's go forward with the ambassador of that very country, and I'm talking of the Republic of Uzbekistan, and we have with us the ambassador of the Republic of Uzbekistan in Pakistan, His Excellency Aybek Arif Usmanov. Mr. Usmanov, thank you very much to have joined us.
Thank you very much for having me.
We have already discussed in the past as well, and you've always given me the privilege, the occasion to discuss your country, its different peculiarities, its relationship with Pakistan. This time we'll delve a little bit differently. We'd like to understand some of the aspects of Uzbekistan's strategy, as well as the upcoming heads of government meeting of the SCO that is going to happen in Islamabad, and of course Uzbekistan being a member of the SCO makes it a very important country to talk to. Now, before we begin and go towards that, the 33rd anniversary of the independence of the Republic of Uzbekistan was recently held. We all know the efforts that your President Shaukat Mirziyoyev has had, the impact that his work has had, his strategies have had on the country and on the region. Looking at the future, would you kindly shed some light on the strategy that the Uzbeks call the 2030 strategy of Uzbekistan?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, I'm grateful to the PTV and to you, Umar Batsab, for having me today, because the 1st of September, it was the recently very well celebrated date on the 33rd anniversary of Uzbekistan, which you rightly and correctly mentioned that it is a country which is very dear to you and dear to every and each Pakistanis. And it is vice versa the truth that 240 million Pakistani nation, brotherly countries, and the same, we are having same cordial and connectivity feelings that what we are doing now in this century, it is actually the reconnectivity of our two great nations, having only one country, which is the neighboring countries like Afghanistan. Otherwise, I was always saying that if we will travel from Peshawar to the Termez city of Uzbekistan via Afghanistan, it will, by railway, it will just take only 5 or 6 hours, inshallah. Then when you mention about the Uzbekistan and it is preparations and then the nation like the Uzbekistan, let me first of all congratulate to our countries that on the eve of our Independence Days in Independence Day in Pakistan and after that in Uzbekistan, our nations, resilient nations, they have shown their great courage and bravery on the recent Olympic Games, where the first time in the history after 40 years I congratulated Nadim Arshad Saab, the javelin thrower, who has brought the first Olympic gold medal, and the same way that 8 Olympic gold medals It is also the great achievement of the Uzbek nation that we are now counted as the 13 countries in the world, and of course the achievements in the sport, in the culture, it is always as the reflection and a demonstrating of the welfare of the people, their bravery, of their abilities. So that's why when we are coming to that strategies, let me point out that the strategies of our two countries, which is now being run by our leadership, by the government of Pakistan and the government of Uzbekistan, my leader, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, and President Asif Ali Zardari Saab, and Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif Saab, is actually as this long-term strategy of development. And it comes first of all with the social welfare state, ensuring the welfare for every and each person in our nations. So when we say about the potential for the welfare of the station, it starts of course with the social economic development, that the long-term strategy has been designed in Uzbekistan, and there are the seven goals, but overall the tier that we have seven. When I'm saying 7 tiers, it's now comprising from 100 goals, and from 100 goals for 2030 strategy development of the country is half of them, actually 44 goals of that, it is for the social economic development, welfare of the people, using their own potential. When your countries and my country, we are all united, we are having in common goals, first of all to use our own potential, which we have as the agricultural, as the industrial potential, as the people, nation, using our young generation. In both of our nations, we have more than 60% of youth population, youngers. So making them and creating them conducive environment, which starts from legislation, then it comes from the government decrees, then it comes with the government protection and the social protection. It means that first of all, we will encourage through our own investment and the foreign direct investment, we will encourage them to start their own startups. The protection, first of all, comes from the small and medium enterprises. So SMEs, as always, is the backbone of every and each economy. Second way, when we are saying about the strategic goals, we are saying about the welfare and education, and of course we are saying about their medical facilities and medical services for everyone. So it means that every government in the long-term strategy, and Uzbekistan as well, is trying first of all to reach to the every and each corner of their own in their own country, in all these provinces, remote cities, remote villages, remote mahallas, as we say. So the people living there, they should have the equal facilities and the medical services like we are having in our capitals, in Islamabad or in Tashkent or in Karachi, in Peshawar or in Samarkand and Bukhara. We are reaching to that American continent that also having a good potential for every and each country, the United States, Canada, Latin American countries. So I'm happy to tell you, for example, that in our last musical festival in Uzbekistan, which we celebrated recently in Samarkand, historical city of all Muslim Asia, there were 180 countries who participated in the musical festival. And when we have such a big numbers of the musical group bands who are coming to celebrate with you, it means that you have almost covering all United Nations countries. And the same way, I just want to tell you that if in the very beginning of our trade exchange of trade cooperation with the foreign countries. If Uzbekistan 33 years back, we only started with the 37 countries. There are now more than 195 countries in the world with whom we are having a mutually beneficial trade relationship. So having said that, it means that the foreign countries, the foreign policy of the countries, first of all should be an economic diplomacy. With economic diplomacy, it means that you are promoting the trade, you are promoting the transit corridors, you are promoting exchange of the science and technologies. Then you are coming to the very important part of that foreign cooperation as the exchange of the education and health care. Then it comes, of course, to the very important dimensions like in cultural and humanitarian exchange, which is very important. So having said that, what we are saying that in Uzbekistan, 2030 strategy of my president, it's now just helping to our nations to get as much as possible foreign friends and in strengthening the regional connectivity, and then using that regional connectivity reaching to the other continents for to promote the trade and economic relations.
All right. So I think the 7 pillars, Excellency, are extremely important. They are also part of the 2030 strategy of your president, who's steered the country on a very prosperous route in the right direction. But one of the pillars that you talked about was foreign policy, and I'd like to revert to a foreign policy. Every country's foreign policy different, is unique, and your country's foreign policy is no different in that respect. If I were to ask you what are the basic pillars of your foreign policy, what would they be? Secondly, I'd like to also, reiterate for my audience as well, the Foreign Minister of Uzbekistan, Bakhtiar Saidov, was in Pakistan on a 2-day official visit in the month of May this year, which is just a couple of months back. He held comprehensive discussions with the Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister, Senator Mohammad Ishaq Dar at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. These were very important discussions and very fruitful discussions. What have been the developments since those discussions took place in the month of May? So my question is two-pronged. A, the foreign policy and its pillars. B, the visit of your foreign minister to our country in May. And what has been the follow-up since?
So, as I mentioned, the safe and peace-loving state policy, of course, it envisages, first of all, of course, the open, pragmatic, and good neighborly policy with your own regional countries and with your neighborhood. Second is that economic diplomacy, which is comprising from every trade and exchange of science and technologies, and that when not only the ministries of commerce or some relevant, but every and each diplomat of Uzbekistan is now entitled by the Uzbek leadership, by my president Shavkat Mirziyoyev, to be as the ambassador of trade and economic diplomacy. First of all, let me stress you that first of all, I want to mention that our leaders are the first promoters of the trade diplomacy and economic diplomacy. I'm happy to tell you that in the last 3 years we have arranged more than 9 high-level dialogue, high-level meetings between our leaders, the president level and the prime minister level, and more than 35 ministerial level meetings between our governments. And every and each of that meeting, as the more than half of that meeting's timing is now always been focusing and emphasizing on the trade and economic projects, what have been done in the past, what, for example, what we are looking and monitoring for, that what is the status of the transit trade which we already signed in 2021. What is how the preferential trade agreement which we alhamdulillah signed in 2022 between our two governments. and then after that, what kind of the next measures should be taken up by the two governments and the two business communities to enhance the trade, to diversify the trade, and how to facilitate the transit companies, and to facilitate the commodities inflow from two countries using that direct links, or by air, or using the road or railway links. So then it comes that Uzbekistan now became for the Uzbekistan, Pakistan now became as the one of the 10 countries of the world, the most record of our trade in commodities, and I'm proud to say that Pakistan in the last 3 years became as the one of the 10 countries of the world which we are trading in. If before Uzbekistan was mostly closely related with the CIS countries, with the countries which are going to that Euro-Asian, now we are happy, we are proud to say that the South Asian countries, and Pakistan in particular is number one of that, who are now became as a solid and dynamic trade partner. Then of course the foreign economic policy of Uzbekistan is also focusing on the Southeast Asia, in Near East Asia, to the Middle East, and to West Asia. And then as Pakistan also started last years, and Uzbekistan also started to explore the possibilities and potential of the trade and mutual cooperation with the African countries, which is also a very promising continent for every country in our neighborhood. So, and then of course it comes like countries like the North Americans, the Canada and the Brazil and the Argentine and other countries in that region, with whom we also having, even being that the far rich countries, but we are also very active on that trade. And I'm happy to say that what I see in the case of Pakistan, your country is also trying a lot to be in there. And in particular, when we are saying about the trade, of course, every country and every government and every federation and chamber is interested on the export promoting. So the enhancing and diversifying trade, it means that facilitating the export for every and each country, which is the big potential. And I'm proud to say, and I want to congratulate the government of Pakistan and Uzbekistan and the ministries of commerce of our two countries and the federation and the trade chambers of two countries and all business people, that first time in the history that this year in the May in Uzbekistan hosted first ever single country made in Pakistan exhibition, where the more than 110 Pakistani export companies has been participated, where they can display for the 3 days. It was as Uzbekistan was hosting, just as the Pakistani export companies, where we've been able, only during these 3 days, we've been able to sign for more than $200 million trade contract and investment projects. And if the Pakistan was always been looking for any other continents, now with the opening of Uzbekistan as the transit hub for the Central Asia, and even more than this, beyond of Central Asia, Pakistani export companies may go for the development ties with the Euro-Asian continent. And of course, via Afghanistan, Pakistani commodities now can be reachable to Uzbekistan, to Termez city, where we have built for the Pakistan and Afghanistan traders. We build their international cargo center. And the same way, of course, we are having in plan on diversifying in the transit roads, that the Central Asian countries and other CIS countries and Euro-Asian countries can be reachable through via Afghanistan to the Pakistani ports, Gwadar, Qasim, Karachi ports, which gives them the opportunity not only to reach to the Pakistan and the South Asian country, but to go far away, to use the Pakistani ports to go to the Southeast Asia, to the East Asia, and to the African continent, inshallah.
I think that's important, and I'm so glad that the relationship between both the countries is on a wonderful trajectory and on different platforms, and you've of course mentioned many of those, and I think this is the way two brotherly countries should move forward, that in a direction that benefits not only each country individually but also both countries collectively. Now, speaking of collectivity, there are different organizations that both you and your country, Uzbekistan and Pakistan, are part of, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is
Yes,
one
correct.
such very, very important organization that both the countries have been part of. Now, we have the heads of government meeting that is going to be held in the month of October in Islamabad. Coming to the SCO, the role that Uzbekistan has had as far as the SCO is concerned, the statements that your president has given are extremely important. I'd just like to refer to some of them. Your president has noted that the SCO has always been and continues to be in favor of a just world order that is based on the universally recognized principles of international law and multilateralism, with the central coordinating role of the United Nations. I think it couldn't have been better said. Then he says that the emerging realities call for new strategic approaches to enhance the effectiveness of the SCO. He also talks about working out a new agenda for the SCO that would correspond to the huge potential and the increasing role of the organization and the countries that represent it in world politics and economy. He also asked to have a new look at the conceptual framework of the SCO's activities in the field of security. I think that is also a very important point that he raised, since the nature and the scope of modern challenges have changed significantly since the organization was established. We've got so many different new avenues as far as the security paradigm of the region is concerned. Your president has also proposed to hold an annual international industrial exhibition, the SCO Expo. He also talks about economic cooperation between the countries that represent the SCO and their cooperation with the ECO, the Gulf Cooperation Council, the EAEU, ASEAN, and others. From a Uzbek perspective, how important is SCO as an organization? What role could your country, that is Uzbekistan, further play in not only strengthening it but also diversifying it, as has been shown by the different statements of your president?
Correct, Umar Batsap. Definitely that you already just mentioned the main pillars of our Uzbekistan approach and my leader, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, approach to that SCO. Let me start first of all to stress that Uzbekistan was one of the 6 countries of the founders of that SCO, which from the very beginning, with their goal and strategy, was exactly that strategy of the peace-loving and the regional approach, which is now mostly focusing on the trade, economic, social welfare, transit, and then facilitating that business to business, government to business, and of course humanitarian, tourism, science, technology, and the IT, and of course, which you mentioned, the security. When we say about security, of course, it means that it is mutual trust, it's a confidence. It's not on just a self-confidence, but it is the global confidence that as soon as you are not the only one in this region who are sharing the same goals, the same positive approach, as well as first of all, your good neighbors. So the SCO from the very beginning, if it was just on the 6 countries, it's now more than 10, 11 members on that, and Pakistan is one of that successful members which joined our Shanghai organization. But also, as soon as we have a member of the observers members, then we have a dialogue partners, and overall the number of that have been increased from that for the last 10, 12 years, from the 6 countries to 22 countries. So when we are saying about 22 countries, it means that it is not just a regional, but it is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization became as the global importance, the organization with the global importance. So the main focus of that Shanghai Cooperation Organization, first of all, is the cooperation in the trade. It is cooperation in the industrial in industry. It's cooperation in the science technology. It's humanitarian, promoting the tourism. It's promoting the exchange of the delegations on as well as the government level, but also as the Federation of Chambers. And most important dimension which we started for the last 3-4 years after that Pakistan joined the SCO, we started intra-regional, yani region-to-region cooperation. For example, the best way is to show you what it doesn't mean region-to-region. If before we've been just only signing our government-to-government trade, investment, avoidance of the double taxation and other transit and humanitarian agreements and MOUs, now that the provinces, Sindh province of Pakistan, Punjab province of Pakistan, and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province of Pakistan, they already has been established in the last 3 years the close and friendly relations and MOUs with the relevant provinces of Uzbekistan. So Fargana province, Namangan province, Surkhandarya, which is the capital of that, which is the Termez city, they have been now established a mutual cooperation where first of all the governorates, the chief ministers, the local government, along with the chambers of that relevant provinces and regions of Uzbekistan and Pakistan, their exchange delegation. They are signing between themselves their own MOUs. They are signing the twin sister cities agreements, and each of that meetings, they've been always arranged along with the B2B, G2B, and that. And then we have facilitating the traders of 2 regions, from Pakistan and from Uzbekistan, to reach agreement on the new trade contracts, on the new technology exchange, of the cooperation in the transit of the goods, and of course for the developing the connectivity projects like the Airlink, air services, road services, and then of course it means that the tourist inflow from 2 countries, where the Uzbek citizen, everybody from Uzbekistan may reach to such an historic cities like Peshawar, Lahore, Multan, Bahawalpur, Karachi, where we have now reconnecting the best traditions of the Sufi Karama, when the Naqshbandiya Silsila of Sufi Karama and Sukharawardiya, Chishtiya, Qadiriya, they can join each other again, reconnect each other. When we are saying about the humanitarian, it means that if the first trade caravans from Samarkand, Bukhara in ancient Silk Road been reaching Peshawar and Diai Khan and Diai Ghazi Khan, it means that now we can reach together between cities of Samarkand and Bukhara and Termez. They may reach via Afghanistan not only to Peshawar, to Karachi, but also to Faisalabad, to Sialkot, to Multan and Bahawalpur. And I'm happy to tell you that your trade chambers in the regional and in the Multan, Bahawalpur, Sialkot, Sargodha, and Dera Ghazi Khan, Dera Ismail Khan, Karachi and Quetta, they are always far-reaching, and they are now supporting that there should be a direct connections with the Samarkand, Bukhara, Fergana, Tashkent, and Kashqadariya region. Just recently we have the two powerful and two delegation of the Pakistani businessmen have reached to Kashqadariya region, which is historically known for every Pakistani, like Nasaf region, where the Amir Taimur, the birthplace, and then they are reaching to the Bukhara region. In every and each businessman and business delegation, they are looking for the opportunities that can be used in agricultural, in textile and pharmaceutical, in this, in the energy resources and other. And every and each delegation from Uzbekistan who are reaching Peshawar, Islamabad, Lahore or Karachi to attend, for example, recently it was a big Uzbek delegation in Expo of Pakistan in Karachi city, where they also have signed more than 20 agreements between the relevant companies each other. This is something that SCO is promoting, region to region cooperation between our two countries.
I understand from a Pakistani perspective, we can just be delighted by all the developments that are taking place, but Pakistan is just one of the many countries that form the SCO. What are the latest initiatives as far as the Uzbek side is concerned when it comes to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization?
So the latest one which we have proposed by President Shaukat Mirziyoyev have been proposed in Samarkand on the level of 2022, and when it was the level of the head of the states summit of the SCO, it was first of all which we are promoting. The first initiative was the good neighborliness, the code, the ways and the ways of the conduct for the countries which are now thinking about the good neighborhood, mutual trust, and cross-border partnership, which is also envisages that every and each countries are taking, they are in concern of every and each country's concerns about the security. Second is that we have, Uzbekistan has suggested the agreement of the trade facilitation procedures. Trade facilitation procedures, it's e-commerce. It's easy crossing the borders. It's facilitating them that the custom procedure, that it should be single window for every and each businessman who are crossing the areas and the countries of the SCO between each other. So instead of the waiting 3-4 days for the registration of every and each good passing through the customs, it should be just in the one click, which can be by the electronic commerce and the WeBuck system, which we have always. Then we are coming to the SCO Development Fund, because you may, we all understand that without the financing of our social and economic projects, there would be no facilitation for them. So the SCO Development Fund would be firstly it would be established between the countries, where in the framework of the SCO Development Bank, which is very important, that every and each businessman should be provided by the loans and credits to run and to promote its own startup projects between inside country and between the SCO countries. Next is the digitalization. Of course, we would all understand that in 21st century, when we are having logistics procedures which are digitalized, and it means that we are facilitating them first inflow of the transit and services between our countries. Then it comes for the projects of the cooperation plan to facilitate the investments and technology in very important area like renewable,
that is very
solar, wind and others, the renewable energies. For example, the batteries which are now you are producing in Pakistan can be easily also produced in every and each Central Asian countries, as well as the China, as well as the other countries of the SCO or the Gulf countries. And of course, when we are integrating the efforts from not only from two countries, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, but we are facilitating inside the SCO, where the one project would be on the table, and from every 22 countries of the region, that would be a very good promotion of that one. Now, number 6, it's future technologies. When we say about future technologies SCO program, which has been proposed by President, it means that we are now facilitating the startups for the young generations in science, in technology, in trade, and when you just make them a conducive environment, and the youngsters themselves, they will promote and they will revive the economies which we already may be forgotten. Now, with the one of the more number 7 initiative, let me say that it is a roadmap of the SCO countries in the social development and protection. Social development and protection is also very important, and it means that not only one single country would be concerning about social protection and welfare of your country, but the opportunities of other countries. For example, our good neighbor and your good neighbor is China, which is, let's say, is the forefront of the social protection, where about the poverty alleviation, about the employment, they are good example and they are good experience in the poverty alleviation, and employment can be used by every Asian countries and the Muslim countries like our countries. Then number 8 initiative of Uzbekistan was about the food security. Food security, of course, Umar Batsap, you may have a good understanding that after that COVID, after the disruption of the trade chains between the not only countries but between the regions to regions, it's a very important that there should be digitalization and electronic platform for the SCO food security projects that can be helpful for the all countries who has been damaged by the recent calamities, like in the epidemics, like in the COVID, and after that the floods, which has been time to time coming to some of the countries in the Pakistan and Tajikistan, and other countries might be the epicenters of such calamities.
And I think it's important to also prepare oneself, and especially under the ambit of an organization such as the SCO, for all future calamities as well. And so food security becomes very important in that respect. If you are food secure, then you can secure your future generations from all such calamities, if and when they could happen. Pakistan did not know it was going to have the 2022 floods when it happened. And look at what Pakistan went through. 1/3 of our country was submerged underwater, and the economic challenges that we have been facing since the 2022 floods. So I think it's excellent. It's an excellent initiative of the SCO, and of course taken by your country's president and your country as well, in order to make the whole region food secure, and that and so many other initiatives that you have also talked about. Pakistan is going to hold the SCO's heads of government meeting on the 15th and the 16th of October this year, and it's coming in just a week's time. Of course, we also know that Islamabad is holding the rotating chairmanship of the SCO Council of the Heads of Meeting, which is the second highest decision-making forum of this bloc that also includes Russia as well as China. How do you see this upcoming move that is happening in October? What are the expectations from the Uzbek side? Do you feel it will give more impetus to the development of the multifaceted partnership that exists not only between your two countries, but also between the other countries within the bloc?
Let me first of all tell you that Pakistan and the government of Pakistan and the Pakistani nation as whole are the dynamic part, vibrant and very powerful part of the SCO when it comes to the rotating chairmanship. So before the executive leaders, before the prime minister level delegation will reach, inshallah, on 15-16 of October, Islamabad capital, the government of Pakistan is now very well preparing the ministries of commerce level. So the ministries of commerce, trade ministers of the SCO countries, as well as the members, observers, dialogue partners, all of them, I do believe more than 20 countries, inshallah, would be participating in the Islamabad summit of the SCO. Before that, before the executive leaders will come, the trade ministers of the 2022 countries would be reaching Pakistan very soon in the midst of the September. And there would be a good opportunity when the Federation of the Chambers of Pakistan, along with the Ministry of Commerce of Pakistan, would be holding the B2B Investment Business Forum in the framework of the SCO Summit. So there would be not only G2G, but the G2B and B2B platforms where the traders and the transport companies and the science and technology leaders can meet each other to find and to use that platform which we already discussed with you, to use them in the trade, in the in industry, because we are mentioned not only just food security, but we are saying about the pharmaceutical, textile, we are saying about the steel making, we are saying about the chemical production, construction, building materials. We are saying about the B2Bs between tourist companies of two countries. So SCO platform is the very vibrant and dynamic platform for the business communities from regional countries and beyond of those countries to participate and to find for their own solid partners for the long-term cooperation. And the best thing is that the governments of our countries, and first of all the host government like Pakistan, will be facilitating them and giving them the opportunity to meet the business leaders of the so many countries in Islamabad to be well prepared for the long-term cooperation. So this and also when we are saying about the security, the regional anti-terrorist center in Uzbekistan now is also arranging the meetings of the experts level delegation from SCO countries to deal and to tackle for the preparing the mutual trust atmosphere to make sure that such kind of projects between our countries would be well secured and well protected by the government and by the peoples and by the nations. So there would be a very normal and our trade and transit would not be harmed by some border conflicts, or by other untoward some nefarious design by some groups or by some enemies of our nations that can be harmful for every country and to create them, to make them some trouble for the traders and economy. So in the complex that we are expecting that there would be a great success when the SCO Prime Minister level summit will be in Pakistan, and I'm sure that the Uzbek government and the other governments and the business communities of our Uzbekistan and other countries will be well prepared to be good partners of Pakistan as the host nation, inshallah.
Inshallah ta'ala. I'm so glad that we are having this very interesting discussion, because I did not know all the new initiatives that will be taken under the auspices of the SCO, and so many new directions that the SCO is taking. I think it's extremely important for this group of countries that represents individually also their own might in different spheres, to get together and to make collective decisions, not only for the betterment of their own countries, but also for the betterment of the region, for their own
Correct.
organization and for the world in general. Now, before we leave, Excellency, we know that the 32 years of diplomatic relations between Pakistan and Uzbekistan have gone by, 32 very fruitful years, 32 very constructive years of the relations. I'd like you to end by, giving us a brief outlook of where these relations are going to. What's your point of view, and what would be your message also to the people of Pakistan through this avenue of PTV World?
Thank you, Umar. What's up? You mentioned about 32nd anniversary of our diplomatic relations. So I'm glad to tell you and to tell your listeners and the viewers that important that foreign offices, foreign ministries of two countries always are trying to have a dynamic cooperation and dialogue through the mutual visits. As you mentioned in the very beginning, my foreign minister Bakhtiar Saidov recently visited, and during his visit it was also dedicated for the celebrations of the 32nd anniversary of our establishment of our diplomatic relations, when he could met to send, first of all, when he met with the President of Pakistan and Prime Minister of Pakistan, and then with his counterpartners in the Foreign Office of Islamic Republic of Pakistan, in just not only send the message of the love, brotherhood and the friendship of my president to the leadership and to the nation of Pakistan, but we also discussed during that exchange of that views and dialogue, we monitored whatever has been done, as I already mentioned, but what should be done next for that trade, economic diplomacy and people-to-people contacts. So that was agreed that mutually we should celebrate next anniversaries of our establishment of diplomatic relations, first of all with the achievements and with the goals and the strategy in economic diplomacy. It means that 1 billion roadmap has been endorsed by the two ministers, that facilitation of the trade, customs and the transit and diversifying of the trade should be done by the two governments. For example, if according to that current agreement of preferential trade, we may only exchange with the 20 commodities. Now we agreed that it should be not less than 100 commodities who can be used during that preferential trade agreement. It definitely will give the diversification of trade. Secondly, we agreed that, as I mentioned, the WIBEC system for the customs will be used. And number three, e-commerce, electronic commerce between stock exchanges of Uzbekistan and the Karachi Stock Exchange would be implemented. So with these steps that the 1 billion trade will go. Next, we are saying about the connectivity of the road and the railway. We agreed that the railway, the game changer project of Termez, Mazar-e Sharif, Logar, Harlachi, and then reaching to Karachi and Gwadar would be started from this year. As soon as very soon we are finalizing the feasibility studies by the international consulting groups which are now preparing for us the feasibility studies. We are now coming for the stage when we will be looking for the financing of that project. And very soon that hopefully there would be a good news that international finance organizations and friendly countries from this region and beyond this region will also join to help us to have a railway. Because when we are saying about road connectivity, it takes from Karachi to Samarkand maybe just 2-3 weeks. But when we are having the railway, it will only take just 5-6 days from Karachi to reach to Samarkand and Bukhara and Tashkent. And then from that, commodities can go even beyond that, our countries to the other CIS countries and to the Euro-Asian dimension and to the Middle East dimension. And of course, the cost of every and each container, every and each pound in the container would be then 4 times less than when we are using the road containers. So the next, of course, it would be the air connectivity between our countries, where the cities like Karachi, Lahore and Islamabad can be very well connected by the air connectivity with the Tashkent, Samarkand and Bukhara, which I already mentioned about that tourism and the ziyarah tourism, that pilgrimage that can be between our countries. And of course, we are always enduring the visit of my minister, which was also one of the part of the preparation for the SCO summit, coming summit in Islamabad next month. It was also the finding and the new dimension of our cooperation, which can be in the chemical industry, in the IT industry, in the construction and building materials, in the food processing, and to use as much as possible SMEs, small and medium enterprises. For that, we agreed that after the successful single country made in Pakistan exhibition in Uzbekistan, in Tashkent capital, the similar exhibitions can be done and business forums can be done in such cities like Peshawar, like Karachi and Lahore. So there would be, we hopefully will have a good news for the next 2-3 months after the SCO summit, when there would be a new business forum and G2B and B2B. And with all of that, of course, we will make a much more conducive environment for the people-to-people contact, and our nations, inshallah, for the next 33rd anniversary of diplomatic relation will come with a much bigger achievements in the sport, in the trade, in the transit, in the culture and tourism, inshallah.
Inshallah ta'ala. And I think that I'm sure all of Pakistan agrees with me, share the same sentiments as you. We want our relations to prosper, we want our relations to strengthen, and we want our relations to also strengthen within the ambit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. I think not only does this organization represent a cumulative group of countries that work for the benefit of the region, but it also further enhances relations between countries that form part of it, just like your own country. And I'm so heartened by all the initiatives that we have just talked about that will be also taking place in the coming weeks and the months. We look forward to that, and we look forward to more initiatives during your stay in Pakistan as well, Excellency. And we wish Uzbekistan all the very best, and your president all the very best with all the brilliant initiatives that he has taken, not only for your country, but also for strengthening relations with other countries such as Pakistan. Excellency Aybek Arif Usmanov, thank you very much to have joined us, to have given us the time, to have given us such detail as to what your country's strategy is all about, what relations between Pakistan and Uzbekistan mean to you, and how important is the SCO to you and to your country. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this very interesting episode regarding Uzbekistan-Pakistan relations, and of course the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Will be in the coming weeks also bringing you more in that, with more members, more member countries of the SCO in, of course, in the lineup of the heads of government meeting that is going to be held next month. Till then, Umar, Khalid bids you farewell. We, of course, before we go, we wish Uzbekistan all the very best. It's a brotherly country, it's a neighboring country, and it's a country that we cherish and that we love and we respect. And we just hope that this love, this respect continues to prosper in the days to come. So thank you so very much, Excellency. Thank you.
Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Dosti, Zindabad.
Zindabad and Paindabad.
Paindabad.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you inshallah soon. Allah.